Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It's William Chung for Core Trading Concepts. I am the author of the book, A Guide to Core Trading Concepts, and the founder of CoreTradingConcepts.com. Um, so this is, I believe it's going to be the sixth or the seventh video that I'm making for our blog page over at Core Trading Concepts. And hopefully there's enough education or enough material that I'm putting together collectively on each one of these videos that gives you an impression about trading and trading profitably and how to minimize risk, maximize reward while preserving capital, which is obviously the most important thing uh, in the world of trading is capital preservation. With that much said, the market will be opening up in roughly about 3 minutes, so I'll review these charts or this platform very quickly for those that aren't familiar with it. This is my time and sales window. My executions window is right above it. Positions window is right above that on the top right corner. I have a 2-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and hourly chart. And of course, I'll be watching the level 2 very closely to find entries wherever possible. With that much said, the markets are gapping into the prior day's high, which is also, I believe, the 52-week high. I'm trading the IWMs, which is the ETF equivalent for the Russell 2000 index. And because of the nature of this gap taking place going into the prior high of the day, not exceeding it, but because it's actually meeting around that same level, my intention is quite bearish, specifically because I think this area of resistance at this level is going to be something that can be shorted fairly aggressively as well. But we'll have to keep an eye on the 2-minute chart, the time in sales, and the level 2 window to really time everything out. And hopefully we can get a great position sizing as well as a nice little run in our favor. Alrighty, so 2 minutes left before the market open. We're going, just a quick note, these tails here that you see on some of these charts are probably fictitious. I don't think that there's a whole bunch of credibility behind them, perhaps just out of the money prints that took place. Let me throw up a few lines here just to make sure that we can get some impressions about what might be taking place and how we would react to such areas. And I'll give us some areas of major, minor support, major, minor resistance that we can use as reference points to help us make decisions, along with obviously the level 2 time and sales and the 2-minute chart. So we're roughly about 1 minute away from opening or 30 seconds away from opening. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be aggressively shorting this to the downside because of the nature of price opening up at the prior day's resistance area and prior highs. So with that much said, looks like we're going to keep a close eye on this and see if we can do a little bit better. Alrighty, so the market is now open. I'm going to hit it with 400 shares, I guess. Another couple hundred, and we're going to keep an eye on this. Current price on the national best bid and offer is the 04s by 05s. My current average price is the 07s, roughly about the 08s. I'm currently carrying 900 shares, and the price is looking pretty good. This was a very, very aggressive entry with the anticipation that the prior day's high and 52-week high, I believe it is going to provide us with a swift move to the downside. But I also used the gap list, which I publish every single day on the blog page, as well as the Discord room and the Facebook group, to make those type of determinations based on the number of stocks that are moving up or down on the gap list. and seeking follow through. So I'm going to add one more lot here. I'm up to 1,000 shares. I'll try to keep my share sizing down a little bit for the simple sake that most traders might feel intimidated with me adding this aggressively on such a high price stock. And that really isn't the intention. The same methodology that I'm currently using can also be employed for, let's say, stocks under $25 or stocks under $50, depending where your area of specialty is. Hence, I always try to promote individuals to specialize in the stocks that they wish to trade rather than finding specific stocks that are the flavor of the day. Alrighty, so just a quick review of what's going on. The National Best Bid and Offer, which is the inside bid and ask, is currently at 92 by 93. We got lots of red prints, a little bit of green. My average price is the 06s. What else do we have here? Last price is at the 96s, which is my last entry price. And I'm currently up 10 cents per share. Clearly, I'm not going to let the price go against me at the 06s. Otherwise, I'll be exponentiating my losing position, or I'll have an exponentiated losing position, and that's not necessary to eat that type of a loss. The intention is specifically to run it down. If I have to take the shares off the table at my break even, I'll certainly do that. And if price runs favorably, then obviously we're going to manage it accordingly. Alrighty, so currently on the 2-minute chart, we have a little bit of a tail here, and the price is hovering around the lower area of the day. So that's a good sign. That's a positive sign. And we're going to look for this area at the 87s, which is where price is currently at. See how that holds, or if it holds at all. If that doesn't hold too terribly well, we're going to, and continues to move down. The intention is to observe the 60s. Actually, did I miss something here? Let me. All right, so this area here could also be an area of potential resistance. Let's just throw up a line. It's hard to say whether or not it will be or will not be, but we'll toss that line up there just to see how price reacts when it comes into this area. And that's roughly the 79s. Alrighty, so we've got a couple of bars to the downside here, so it's still looking quite attractive to continue holding the position, but we'll see how when price here's the 79s or comes into this area down here, how it's going to react, and we'll try to make some decisions and trade accordingly. So we have a very, very hard bar to the downside at the moment. All right, so we got a little bit of green coming in there. Maybe give that another second or two. We're well into the green or into the profit zone, so we can give it a little bit more breathing room. I don't want to see a tail too terribly early. The bottoming tail on the lower side of the candlestick, that might be dangerous. For our purposes, and if that's the case, we're going to consider taking some shares off the table, or if the candle starts going green. This is basically a little bit of a gap up from the prior day, and it needs to be considered a little bit bullish, although it's just retracing from the gap at the moment. So with that much said, we're going to keep a close eye on what's taking place here. Maybe you have to take some shares off the table if this candle goes green or has a huge bottoming tail on it. We don't need that thing to erode away our profits. So this is the type of a move or type of a play that I'm very interested in, or typically trade. I do usually go in fairly heavy when I have a sense of confidence because everything lines up correctly. Alrighty, we got a little bit of tail coming in here. Um, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We don't want to get too much buying. We'll keep an eye on the time it sales as well. We don't want to give back too much profit. Alrighty, so we're getting a little bit more of a tail. If this price starts going to 72, I'm going to take half off. All right, here we go. 71s. All right. Okay, maybe I took a little bit more than half off. 75, 76s. If this bar goes green, I'm going to take off another 200, maybe 300 shares. Alrighty, so let's take off 300. And so we've been in this trade for roughly about 7 minutes, and we have a realized profit of $307. Average price is that the 96s, which is roughly about this area here where there was a little bit of selling pressure. So we're going to let this price go into this area here where my 96s are and the selling pressure that we observe on the 2-minute chart to make a decision. And see if it actually goes higher than that. If it does, we're going to eliminate the balance of the position. If we get a tail or something that a topping tail that gives us some form of indication that it's going to go further to the downside, we could begin adding to a short position or adding to the current short position and start building up a little bit more size. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Alrighty, so a lot of red, more red than green, but it's really scrolling through. A little bit of green coming in. As we can see on the candle, it's actually moving up higher. So a little bit more buying pressure than there is selling pressure taking place. Price is coming into my average price over here. As you can see, the 91s by 92s. So I'll have to be ready to either exit the position when it comes up into the 96s. Okay, so it's at the 95s. We're keeping a close eye on it. There's a little type of a tail there, not much to work from. Once again, if it goes over the 96s, we're going out. If we get a tail into this area, we're going to consider adding to a short position. 97s. Alrighty, so let's, whoops. All right, here we go. So I've added 300 shares to the short position because of this tail that just took place as we're looking at this 2-minute chart. And of course, the low of the day is going to be an area that we can target for a price to potentially move down if it does go down into that range. But we'll have to manage this carefully. Alrighty, so this is attractive. Maybe I'll add another 200 shares here. My average price is now the 87s, which is just slightly, well, it's actually right where the current price is now. So we have to protect or safeguard the 87s, our position at the 87s. All right, come on, we need a little bit of a move down. We don't want a tail in this early. Okay. Still looking fairly decent. Whoops. All right, so it's going into the 88s. My average price is the 87.8s. We're going to have to make a decision if it comes up a little any higher. If this bar gets taken out, we'll have to liquidate our position and take a small loss with the 600 shares. So this bar, I think it is the 90s is the high, 91s is the high. If the price goes to, let's say, the 91s, that's roughly about a 4-cent move against me on 600 shares. I'm up $308. I could potentially risk a little bit of that to see if price actually moves against me to that extreme, but I do not want this bar taken out or going green. Okay, quickly looking at the 5-minute chart, notice how all these bodies, full bodies, the lows of these full bodies are all looking fairly equal or parallel. We need the full body to come down lower in order to make us feel comfortable with this current trade. If we get a tail to the downside, similar to this one here, then obviously we're going to be taking some shares off the table, only because this is buying pressure and we don't want to be holding we want to take some profits rather than give it back if we start seeing tails take place here, or even just buying. We need to see the lows of the day to be broken, which would make it attractive for us to continue holding this trade. Alrighty, so we have a little bit of meandering. This 75 seems to be significant. Well, at this moment, they seem like it's a little bit of an area that could be providing a little tiny bit of resistance. So we're going to keep an eye on this specific area where price is turning and reflect upon how it plays its role during over on the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart. Just a quick note where price is at the moment. So there appears to be a little bit of resistance in this area. Maybe there was validity to that specific area, but we'll keep an eye on this. Alrighty, so that area that we mentioned earlier around the 75 doesn't seem to be too much significance. And we're coming into the day's low. The low is the 66s. Once again, we're going to keep a close eye into going into this area here. We may need to take some shares off the table if we start seeing a bottoming tail. If we don't see a bottoming tail, or if it's either a bottoming tail or the bar goes green, we're going to need to, or we start seeing buying pressure, we're going to need to take some shares off the table and put it in the bank. All right, so here we go. We're coming into the 66s. I'm prepared to take some shares off the table if this current bar either goes green or starts giving us a bottoming tail. So we won't let the price go past the 70s. If we do, we'll take perhaps half the shares off, or maybe a little bit more. All right, so there's the 70s. Let's take off 400 shares. Whoops, 500 shares. Alrighty, the game plan here, if price breaks below the 65s, which is the current low of the day, then we're going to short it to the downside. If the price, it's hard to consider going long at this point in time, regardless of these bottoming tails. I suspect this area, the 75s, I think it was, 79s might play an area of resistance. But we'll keep an eye on that and see how that plays itself out. The ideal way to trade this is if, let's see, this green bar here, which was the high of the move of this green bar, series of green bars, is roughly about the 95s, I believe. The 97s. So the 97s, if this 97s get hit, which would mean that this opening bar that you see here, including the second bar over here, this becomes a tail all the way up to this range here. So if this were one candlestick between the combination of these two candlesticks that my pointer is on, then this becomes all red at the top, with this length here all being a tail, which makes it bullish. Very, very, very bullish, actually. So hence, if the price goes over into this area or even remotely into this upper side of the tail area, more than half of the whole entire range of that bar will have been taken out, which is very bullish. So we would consider, oops, what's going on here? We would consider going long to the upside, although it does look a little bit challenging. All right, so we're at the 83s, 86s. So this is now eroding in a little bit into our profit range here. A little bit too much talking, not enough watching here. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. Alrighty, so if it goes, the price comes into the 83s again, which is my break-even price, I'm going to kill this trade. And there it is. So let me get out of that trade. And we'll see what happens going into this range here. Might be another opportunity to short, might be an opportunity to go long. This is going to be difficult to try. Actually, it's not too bad. If price comes into this range here with the anticipation of going back to the low of the day, so it would be roughly about the 92s or 93s, and we get a signal or some kind of indication that there's more selling coming in, it would move the price. And our target being the 65s, which is the low of the day, that's a 30 cents, just shy of a 30-cent spread, which makes it attractive or worthwhile to capture perhaps 25 cents of that move, or even 20 cents. I might add, though, it is a little bit on the higher risk side, which means that it's ideal not to add big shares into this type of an area. All right, So we got a topping tail on this bar here. I'm going to get ready to add to this position. I like to see this area here taken out, which is the close of this candles 2-minute candlestick, the full body. If it gets taken out, whoops. I guess that didn't play itself out. Go keep an eye on it. Whoa, big skip. Alrighty, so it's coming into this range here, looking for a reversal, potential reversal here. See, but we're going to go much smaller shares. Alright, there we go. A little bit of a move there, and we're going to wait or observe the strength of this downside move. Once again, this is trading within this range from high to low. The only reason why I took this trade is because there's a little bit, well, there's a reasonable amount of room for it to go back down to the low of the day. That makes it attractive or worthwhile, although this is a much more complicated entry than I would normally want to take. Alrighty, so we got a little bit of a tail at the bottom here, which doesn't look that too terribly attractive for a short. Alrighty, so we're into the 78s. Perhaps these bodies didn't play as much of an indication or a role that I presupposed earlier. Alright, so we are seeing some buying pressure inside this tail here. I'm not going to let the price go against my 84s. And I certainly, whoops. All right, so I got to get ready to get out of this one here if there's going to be any buying pressure. Alrighty, so I'm going to take this straight off the table. Alrighty, lots of green prints scrolling through here. One yellow, purple, a little bit mixed looking as it goes through. As I mentioned, this is a much more complicated or difficult trade. That's hence I only used 100 shares just to test the waters. If the bottom of this 2-minute area gets taken out with any type of conviction, I'll consider going short with greater anticipation that it'll break through the lows. Since prices, but it needs to have a lot of force or a lot of selling pressure to give me that justification that it can actually press below and continue beyond the lows of the day. But I'll need that level of conviction. All right, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen right this very moment. Price actually looks like it might move higher. perhaps some higher lows, lower highs taking place on the 5-minute chart. Alrighty, so we'll keep an eye on this area here once again. I guess that's the 89s, 90s. About the 90s. Which puts it into this range here. And see if we can make heads or tails of anything taking place. Alrighty, so we're coming into the 10 o'clock reversal time. As you can see, it's 9:58:04. And so we're going to have to keep an eye on how potential news could impact the price of the IWMs, or the stock that I'm currently trading. Maybe I might have missed that opportunity here. Beginning to look a little bit on the sideways on both the 5 and the 2-minute charts. Alrighty, so I think the game plan is that if price moves its way below the low of the day, we'll consider shorting it. Quite whippy, these tails. Looking on the 5-minute chart, we have double bottoming tails over here that are roughly about the same price. We have topping tails that we see over here, so it would be a little bit more difficult to determine which way price is going to move, although it does look like there is a little bit of a downtrend taking place. So my bias is still a little bit to the short side because of these lower highs, and we're going to anticipate that the bottom or the low of the day is going to be broken. Alrighty, so price is coming back into the 90 area. We're going to keep an eye, see if there's any type of a reversal. Alright, so we're going to take this trade here and short this for only 100 shares because we're not really getting too much direction here. I'm short at the 85s for only 100 shares. Obviously, the stop is going to be around the 90s, around this range here, the top of this tail. If price moves aggressively into that area, I might need to kill this trade. Of course, I'll only be giving up from the 85s to, let's say, the 90, 91, 92 area. I'll be giving up a few dollars. $6, I believe it is, $7. The rationale of giving a little bit of room is exclusively because of the nature of what we're seeing on the 15-minute chart, which looks like an opportunity to go long, regardless of the fact that it's a little bit of a downtrend taking place. We're trying to identify whether or not this is a retracement for a brief, very, very, very brief period of time before it starts moving back down again. And we're going to watch and observe. Alrighty, so price is currently, NBBO is currently 85s, 84s by 85s. I was just about to say, this feels like the market just fell asleep on me for a minute there. Yep, looks like he's taking a nap again. Alright, so I really need these lows to be broken around the 75s area. This meandering with all these tails back and forth inside this little range here is getting becoming quite questionable. As you can see on the 5-minute chart, we have two almost similar highs over here, which is not attractive in conjunction with these two bottoming tail lows here. If this is going to be a range-bound area between the 95s and the 65s, there's a 30-cent move there, which can be scalped all day. The problem with scalping this kind of a move is that there's not much of assurance or conviction that the price is going to stay within this range of the 90s. Is it 90s? Around the 95s area, 92 area. Perhaps the 90s by the 65s. The problem with it is that price hasn't came down to the 65s in a while. This seems to be a new area. 73s. So going from the 90s to the 73s, waiting for indications by tails or changing of the momentum. Let's give up perhaps 3 to 5 cents on each side, which makes this roughly about a 20-cent range that's playable. 20-cent range with 1,000 shares might be attractive, but because it's actually just going sideways, it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more difficult, and I don't want to end up going super, super heavy, high on the number of shares I'm trading, as those are just expenses, and it's a little bit of work just to make a little bit of money to cover these type of expenses if I keep going heavier and heavier and heavier within a range-bound area like this, which doesn't provide me enough of a range of profit. Alrighty. So price is coming right back up into my entry area price. Um, Certainly not attractive at all, making it more and more complicated to try to trade this. I guess if we were in at the 85 area and it came down to the 78s, that's only a 7 cent run, um, or even down to the 74s. That's still not really that much of a move. So I'm considering taking this trade off the table and just being done. This is um, at least done for this video. We're already 41 minutes into this video. The current time is 10:07 a.m. Eastern. Alrighty, so this is a little bit better. So we got a little bit of a red bar. We want to see it break down into the 74s. If it breaks into the below this range here, which is I guess the 70 72 area, breaks into the 70. Let's give it the 72s. It might be attractive to add another 100 shares or 200 shares to the short side with the anticipation of it breaking through the bottom or the low of the day at the 66s. But we'll definitely measure that, make that determination if price actually does do this, because this seems to be an awkward area that's taking place right now. This line, actually, maybe I'll just put down a line. On the 15-minute chart, this is actually fairly attractive looking. Red bar, perhaps a little bit of a retracement with the topping tail. The current bar being formed on the 15-minute chart also has basically similar highs, but is also looking like a tail at the moment. Price is coming into the 74s. We'll start adding if price breaks this level, which is 72. So at the 71s, we'll add more size to this position. Alrighty, so we're at the 72s. We're looking for the 71s to print, and we'll add. Alright, so there's a 71. Whoops. Alright, so that might have been a bad add with the green prints coming through. Alright, we'll take a look at it. Average price is 78s, which puts it around this level here. Oops. Alrighty, so we're back to the 72, 71, so that's a good thing. Alrighty, so we're going to add to the position again if we start seeing the 70s start printing into the time and sales, specifically red ones, not purple ones, purple prints. We want to see red prints, not purple prints. And add the 70s before we add. Okay. All right, so we're not getting that type of conviction I would like to see, that hard move to the downside. So we'll have to be a little bit careful here, cautious at least. All right, so there's a 70. So I'm going to add, whoop. All right, this is average price is 75, current price is 77, 78, so I'm getting out of this one. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to end the video here. I took a little bit of a loss for, I don't know what it was, 300 shares. I'm not sure what the average price is, 69, 72s, 85s. I was out of this 79, so I'm going to guess I probably lost what looks like about $8 or something like that, maybe $10 on this trade or more, which is fine, not a big deal. This whole entire area is annoying. As you can see, it's getting pretty annoying looking to try to trend trade this or continue trading this with all these tails on the 5-minute chart. Not only these two on the bottom, but the multiple ones on the top, and price not currently breaking through. Average price the price keeps moving up. Maybe it was a good thing I got out at the 79s, or at least it's hovering around the 79s. So quick summary. 1013 on the time and sales. Inside bid and ask is 81 by 82, trading the IWMs. 2-minute chart still looking a little bit sideways. 5-minute charts, lots of tails all over the place, and still a little bit sideways inside this range. 15-minute chart, although the 5-minute chart does look a little bit bearish, potential of it going to the downside, we're not getting this downside movement that I'd like to see during the course of this video. So I may very well have to trade this a little bit, or after I end this video, so that this video doesn't go too terribly long. Nonetheless, 15-minute chart, topping tail, starts off with a red bar, with the next bar is a topping tail, following bar is a topping tail. Not much indication of anything we can see on the hourly chart, so there isn't much to discuss there. Yeah, there isn't much on the hourly chart. So basically traded for roughly about 45 minutes in total from the market open. Total of 3,800 shares, net profit of $395, realized profit of $395 for 45 minutes work. That's not bad at all. Like I said, I was very aggressive upon the open because of the nature of the gap up. Was gapping into the prior day's highs, and it made it attractive for me to short it right away. And we played that to the downside and made most of our money there. But now we're just getting into this chop area here that makes it the kind of a condition that causes lots of over trading, maybe lots of shares being used, while marginally increasing the profit and loss. Alrighty, so I think that pretty much concludes this video. Looks like we might be getting that downside move after I've concluded this video. So with that much said, my name is William Chung. I am the founder of CoreTradingConcepts.com. I am also the author of A Guide to Core Trading Concepts. Please visit us on our Facebook groups. Also visit us on our Discord room, our temporary chat room. And please subscribe to our services over at CoreTradingConcepts.com. We hope that this has been beneficial, and we hope that we'll have the opportunity to work with you directly to help you reach your trading goals. Thank you very much, and wishing everybody a great day and trade well.